So hey there, thanks for checking out my videos. I do greatly appreciate it. If you could subscribe, that would be wonderful. I think right now we are sitting right about 400 subscribers, which is spectacular given it's the Southern Ontario Canadian market for Turo that we're talking about. Very, very narrow. So it's one of those things where it's kind of a specialty field from that standpoint. We don't just cover Turo, at least I don't. We talk a little bit about automotive maintenance, insurance, finance options. We talk a little bit about tools and equipment, things that you're going to use for Turo but are applicable to just about anybody. And it's a hobby of mine, and I do enjoy Turo. We've been doing it now for a little over a year. My first vehicle on Turo was an Outlander by Mitsubishi, one of my favorite cars. We did put on a Chevy product as well. It didn't last long because the ROI didn't match the car. So it was one of those things where we looked at it and we went, okay, based on automated pricing, it was better to sell that vehicle off, kind of do the break-even point and go look for another car. That was the plan, and we kind of just fell into that one. So we came up to a year anniversary, and it was kind of like, well, what do we do now? So the thoughts were, do we get rid of the Outlander and replace it with something a little newer and a little different and kind of have some fun that way? But I looked at the numbers on the Outlander, and it actually rents consistently for me. So it's one of those things where, yes, I've made some mistakes in the past. I've had some issues with it as far as just listings and kind of all newbie stuff that you kind of make a mistake at. So I thought, well, let's just keep that. We're going to leave it for a little while, and we're going to run it for another 5, maybe 6 months, and we'll see where we're at. We'll review it on the next inspection process. So next inspection, I'm anticipating brakes and probably a few other little things to bring it up to 100% again. And if it comes back and the technician says, hey, this thing's at the point where maybe we should invest in another vehicle, we'll address it then. I don't think that's going to be the case though, because it's been doing really well for itself. But with that said, we went and we bought ourselves a Hyundai. We bought a car that meets Turo requirements, but just. And thinking to myself, should we add a GPS tracker to that? And I'm going to tell you right out of the gate, yes, whatever you get, regardless of the price point or regardless of what the car is, on Turo, you need to track that. It is a rookie mistake not to track your car. I'm going to show you a few little things. So if we take a look here, this is the current vehicle that we've purchased. It's a nice little 2013, very last year for Turo. It's got about 190K on it, so it's right at that cutoff point for kilometers. It's the perfect car as far as equity because it's paid for right out of the gate. We have to put some time and energy into it as far as that's concerned. But once we do that, we're going to have a nice car that we can run for maybe a year or two on Turo. It'll have a good ROI subject to repairs, right? So it's very predictable from that standpoint. But we need to add a tracking system to it. So you're going to get a load of my messy desk. So the one that I like to get is a unit that is standalone. So in other words, it's not something that you have to build into the car or have to wire it in. This is literally charged up. It lasts about, it says it'll go 70 days. I can't guarantee that. So this one here I'd say is good for about a month. Then you pull it out and you charge it and you tuck it somewhere in the car. So this is a very lazy person's approach to it. Now, I like to take these and wire them in. So in other words, I buy this and I get a little harness for it. And I just put it in a nice concealed spot, like beside the battery underneath the hood, or in the trunk where the spare tire is located, or behind the dashboard next to an audio package that I can plug into as far as power is concerned, right? So it's easy to find this, and then what happens is if it kind of loses your mind, you go, I forgot all about it. It's still getting charged just when the car's running, right? I get it off of Amazon. They go on sale. Every once in a while, you'll see this for around $20 or $15 once a year. They're usually around that $29 mark. They say they're on sale at $29. The normal price is $29. So that's kind of the one to look for. At $29, it's great value. These don't drop out. They're not like those little geotags. Geotags have a lot of issues with people kind of hacking them and falling apart. So it's one of those things. Go with a entry-level, consumer-based tracking system like the Salind GPS tracker, and the software that they have is really easy to use. So if we take a look here, I've already got it keyed up. I didn't go through the prompt because I didn't want to share my passcode or information on the vehicle. But we can see here, so it's very much like a Google Maps, where my Outlander is. So right now it's at the garage and it is parked downtown. So I know the location. If I go over here to the little stats, I can find out average speed. It hasn't moved today, so the speed has been at 0. The charge on the actual unit that is concealed in the vehicle is at 83% because it has been sitting for a while. So it hasn't gone out because we've been doing snow tires and some maintenance with it. So it's been pulled off for about a week. So again, pretty straightforward. Gives the address where it's currently at the shop, and it gives me my nearest locations, which is pretty cool. It'll tell me the previous routes. Average distance traveled in the last little while is 0.5 of a kilometer. So that's the technician taking out for a quick little run after the tires were done. Last point, so it'll do that. Alarms. So in mine, I've set it up so that if someone is speeding in excess, it will give me a little indicator on my phone to say, hey, you need to call the client because they've now hit a limit, right? And it's just a way of just kind of keeping focused on what's going on. To be honest with you, it's never been a problem. So again, very easy to follow, very simple program to work with. So it is a great, easy software for the amateur, for the person out there that doesn't really know what they're doing, just trying to figure it out. This is a great service. PAG is the company that runs it. Their customer service is superb. I've had to call them twice, not regarding billing, but just regarding whether or not the system was active or not. If it leaves the area, in other words, if it goes out of Southern Ontario into the States, it's still active, still works. So it's based off cell technology. It is a superb feature from that standpoint. I would highly recommend it. So again, if you got yourself a cash car, or if you're running through a high-end exotic, anything along that line, put a tracker on it. It's going to protect you. Plus, it also gives you the accurate way of pointing out and saying, hey, you know what? Client had it for 2 weeks. You got a speeding ticket. Or an action camera shot it. Well, it's going to come to you. You can come back and say, hey, look, this is the guy that was driving it. I have a record of it. It's great from that standpoint. So hopefully that helps you out a little bit. Get a tracking system. It's $29.95 retail. You can probably get a deal for that every once in a while. Subscription is about, for me, I pay, I think, $8. And you can get it cheaper if you just pay the year up front. So be aware of that. Again, it's one of those things you can check online. There's probably other services out there. There's one with an OB2 code reader that's a little more money. It gives you engine codes. I was on the fence post with that, to be honest with you. If I had a card where I was going to question, like a Fiat would be a good one. You'd want the OB2 code reader because apparently a soft breeze will set the engine light off on that. So something that's problematic along that line. With the Mitsubishi Outlander, it doesn't typically get a lot of engine codes, so I don't usually have problems with that. On the Hyundai Genesis, whenever I've been in the shop, it usually only throws up emissions codes. So usually they're not bad either. So they're not known for being problematic. So hopefully that helps you out. It's a quick 10-minute video. Just want to talk about my purchase. Want to talk a little bit about GPS tracking. And again, good value out there. Make sure you get it. It's cheap. It's not as expensive as it was years ago. It's not an exotic commodity anymore. It is easy to come by. Go out there, get one. If you don't want one wired in, get one you literally throw in the glove box, or you throw it kind of behind a panel, or you conceal it underneath the seat. Get something like this. Again, very good system. I've had no complaints with it. good value as far as the tracking is concerned. Hopefully that helps you out. It's been 10 minutes. Have a pleasant and enjoyable day.